If I hear one more person say that testing spirits involves interviewing them, I am going to stroke out. I caught wind of this let's interview spirits theology, which started in the 70s and 80s back in the charismatic revival about 10 years ago. And by the way, I'm Mary. I write and teach on the spiritual realm, but I only do so with Jesus. Thanks for being here. I'm also a lifelong observer. I see in the spiritual realm, but I also just observe. And as a lifelong observer, I stood back to look at the fruit of what interviewing a spirit actually looked like. And I noticed something, that those who felt the need to interview every spirit lived in chaos, tension, fear, and anxiety. Did Jesus come in the flesh? Everything and everyone all the time. Like, I've got to follow 1 John. I've got to follow it perfectly. And I would watch as people would interview every thought that passed through their mind, every impression, every word would just go through this. And it was anxiety producing. A former roommate of mine did this every time we prayed, or that she prayed, and she was not at peace. And I honestly really gave up on this method of testing spirits. However, I did not give up on actually testing spirits. You see, I don't like to believe that most spirits will give you the truth. That's controversial, I know. But what I do believe is that I have access to a spirit who is the truth. And so, cautiously, humbly, slowly, carefully, I don't ask spirits diddly squat most of the time. I always ask, Jesus, show me what this is in its true form, not just what it says, because Jesus is higher than all of these other things. Colossians 1 says that Jesus is the image of the invisible God, the firstborn of all creation, for by him all things were created in heaven and on earth, visible and invisible, whether thrones or dominions or rulers or powers. And this is what I've learned. If you look closely at the passage that says test every spirit in 1 John, it actually refers to testing the words that people are saying. Does the fruit of this person's life communicate that Jesus came, died, and rose in the flesh? Is this person's experience in alignment with this? Or is this person disembodied, disconnected from reality, and disconnected from the physical? Or does the gospel that they have received crash into the physical with weight and force? Does their life look like Jesus physically on this earth leads to physical impact on this earth? Or are they disembodied, saying that only spiritual experiences matter, and that, in fact, spiritual experiences are divorced from physical ones? Because, you see, when you look at passages like 1st, 2nd, and 3rd John, and the book of Colossians, and the book of Hebrews, there was a really common spiritual misconception that was kicking around that time that said that Jesus did not come in the flesh, he did not die in the flesh, and he was not raised to life and resurrected in the flesh. And people were getting influenced by lying spirits, and this was having a big impact on people's faith and on their belief. If you are under influence of a spirit that does not encourage you to see your spiritual and your physical life as interconnected and intertwined, you may have the wrong spirit. And the spirit that you hang out with becomes the fruit of the life that you preach. So be careful what and who you're in proximity to, because that will become the life that you preach. That will become the spirit that you experience. Hey there, I'm Mary. I write and teach on the spiritual realm, but only with Jesus. And I have some online books and courses that get a little bit more in-depth than we can really jump into in a YouTube comments section. I'd love to have you check those out. Links are below. Meanwhile, if you enjoyed this and you resonated, like and subscribe. There's more where that came from.